Welcome everybody to Review Please Anime Edition, and today we're talking about Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, and with me, as always, is El, and I'm Jesus. El, how the heck are you? How you feeling?
I'm good. You know, hey, this is the last Review Anime Please of this year, of 2023. And
some might say it's the last one ever. You know, who knows? Who knows what I'm going to decide next year? Do I bring? I've canceled effectively for the audio listeners and people out there.
Yeah,
anybody watching, I've effectively canceled this show. Okay, this show doesn't fucking exist anymore after this episode. So you know, there we go. Let's just get it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I'm an asshole. I decided to cancel this. L wanted to keep going. I said no.
Maybe it'll come. Maybe it'll come back. Yeah. Maybe it'll make a comeback because this is pretty fun to watch these animes.
Yeah, we have to pause on like some of our stuff though, because a lot of stuff is happening in January, February, so we won't have time. But we'll probably bring it back come like April or something. Started with whenever Spy Family season 2 ends, we'll bring it back.
Oh yeah,
and then that'll be our first episode, Spy Family season 2.
Oh yeah,
it'll probably be over by April, maybe. Yeah. Probably.
I'll give a hint because I know we kind of go back and forth on picking the animes of like, what do you want to watch? You want to do that? One anime I definitely want to watch.
Don't fucking tell me. Don't fucking tell me One Punch Man. Don't say One Punch Man season 2 because I'm going to say no.
No. It's Dr. Stone. Man, that's actually becoming one of my new favorite animes just for where they're at right now, and so. They just wrapped up season 3, but it's a fun anime. Very simple. But anyway.
Yeah, I've watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes of it, and then I stopped. So,
yeah, season 1 takes a little bit to get going, but once it does, and then 2 and 3, really good. Anyway,
yeah. Oddly, I just haven't watched oddly enough, I haven't watched too much anime. Like being here in Japan, you would think I'd watch it more, but not really. I'm usually like too tired and I just want to like turn my brain off and not think about anything. So
makes sense.
I'll just play like Marvel Snap or Slay the Spire or get lost in Starfield.
I get that. But makes sense. Anyway.
Because like, even with this anime that we're going to talk about, Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, I watched this, like I finished watching it about 2 months ago. And I've been on you telling you to watch it for a while. Like, do you know what? Exactly. There's a lot of episodes to watch.
Oh yeah.
We're only reviewing season 1 though, so we're only watching. It's only the first 25 episodes.
Oh yeah.
And from what I remember, the pacing is actually pretty good for the show. But before we get into all that, El, I'm curious. What is your history with Mobile Suit Gundam? Like, I know like the common one for a lot of people that are like grew up in the 90s. And watched like Cartoon Network and stuff like that, and Toonami, if you remember Toonami, going home after school and watching Toonami, you would get Dragon Ball Z and you would get Gundam Wing. Like Gundam Wing was like my first introduction to Mobile Suit Gundam type things. But I'm curious about your history. Like,
yeah. So I'll say that my history it's basically just like you said in Toonami. Of course, big fan, avid watcher of Toonami, Dragon Ball Z, Mobile Suit Gundam, or excuse me, Gundam Wing. And like, that's when I first got introduced to Mobile Suit Gundam, was Gundam Wing, where you had Hero, Yui, and like all these other, because Gundam sometimes kind of feels like, even though they're in various universes, they somewhat kind of follow the same structure in a way sometimes, where, it's a group of crazy, like these kids or these guys who are really well versed at handling a mobile suit, and they're rebelling or they're fighting for freedom or something like that.
Yeah.
And but Gundam Wing was the first one where I kind of just was enamored by it because I loved the characters in that specific plot in that series, Gundam Wing, of like Hero, and they all had like different cool weapons. Like one, Hero he was kind of like the main guy, where his Gundam was like the best of the best, and you had other people who looked like a Reaper, a dragon, or like a tiger or something like that. And it was all like really cool, and is very another thing that's very present in Mobile Suit Gundam is politics is a very big thing that's present in Gundam the series. It's all about like wanting control in the government and stuff like that. But that's where I first started watching it on Toonami, and then after that I think I tried to watch another Gundam series, but like I started to notice like there's a bunch of different like series of Gundams. There's like this one's focused in even further in the future. This one's a little bit in the past. This one's such and such. And I got lost because I kind of assumed that it'd be the same characters or, you know, somewhat of the same people, but, you know, they would just be their own things in their own universe. And so that's where I first was introduced. But after that, I kind of noticed like there were so many different types of Gundam shows that I was just like, this is a lot. I don't even know where to begin or where to go, you know?
It's the whole reason I got on track with Iron Blooded Orphans back in the summer, because that's when I was like, when I started getting into Gundam, because I was like, you know what, let's go watch Gundam stuff. And like, I like researched, I like was like, what Gundam show should I watch now in 2023? What would be a good Gundam, like where to start type of deal? And like I got onto like I can't remember what Reddit I got onto, but like there was like a whole like tree of like someone made a whole graphic of like all the different branching storylines and like, you should start here if you like this, or if you like this and this, here's this era, this is in this universe, it's not connected to this universe, but here's this anime that takes place in the same universe, but it takes like 1,000 years into the future. It's not like that's not true. There's not, I don't think any of these take like 1,000 year apart, but it's like this is like 100 years later or something like that. And it's like there was like a whole tree to it and stuff. And the general consensus I saw, though, was like Iron Blooded Orphans is a good place to start.
Gotcha.
And I agree with that. Like, I think if you've never watched a Gundam, a Mobile Suit Gundam show before, I think Iron Blooded Orphans is a good anime to start with. Like, if you want to get your feet wet with the Gundam universe, because it's pretty straightforward with what the overall story is. Because at the end of the day, the Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, it's about this group of kids who the first about 2 or 3 episodes rebel against the corporation that's basically using them as cannon fodder. They're child soldiers that are just being used to, you know, fight other people and stuff. And they rebel and go, no, we're not going to do this anymore. Fuck the adults. They're just like, we're gonna do whatever we want, screw you guys. And so we had Mikazuki and Orga, like the 2 like core leaders of the group. Orga is the leader, and he like rallies all these kids together and they rebel and they take down the what was the group called? That was Chris Guard or something like that. Chris Guard Security, the CGS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they overthrow him and then they renamed the company to Tekadon. How do you pronounce it?
Tekadon. Tekadon. Yeah,
it's something like that. Yeah, apologies for saying it wrong, listeners out there. Apologies. But they take it over. Mika and Orga, they take it over, and they also take up the job of getting Kudelia Anna Bernstein. I'm just going to call her Bernstein from now on because I don't want to. Yeah. She originally hired the CGS to take her from Mars to Earth because she wanted to fight for the freedom of Mars. Like, hey, Mars is a free colony. Let us be free. Blah blah blah. And that's where all the trouble starts because there's political players in the background that are like, dude, we got to kill this girl. We gotta kill this girl. She can't be doing that shit. We gotta kill her because we want to keep control. The Gallahorn company wants to keep control. There's various political people on Mars and Earth that also are like, no. We can't just let Mars be free. It's gonna cause too much problems. Anyways, Bernstein originally hired CGS to do the escort for her, but then the rebellion happened in part because Gallahorn preemptively attacked, the CGS. Yeah. In like the second episode or something. And that caused Mika and Orga to rally because their head of their section was like, I'm just going to leave you guys here. I'm leaving. Bye. Yeah. And Orga's like, dude, that dude's leaving. Fuck that guy. Let's go. So they somehow managed to rebel and fight off Gallahorn which is amazing. But anyways, once that all happens, Bernstein hires the new group, Tekkaden, to take up that contract, and that's sort of what happens. It's just these group of kids, they grow up very quickly, and they take on this job. Orga is their leader, and he realizes that, oh, I need to get money. I need to provide for these kids because shit, the people that were actually making, like, you know, giving us the money are no longer here because they don't want to work with us because they don't know who we are. So we're going to take this job. And along the way, we meet a lot of other factions within the universe. One of them that Orga allies with is the Turbine crew, who's connected to like an even bigger organization. And the politics, it's too complicated for me. It gets really crazy because so many characters get introduced and I'm just like, oh my God, it's almost like Game of Thrones-esque where you meet characters and then they go away for several episodes and you forget they exist and then they show up and you're like, oh yeah, it's that person.
I'll say that this show has like a cast of characters, almost you could basically say an ensemble of just like side characters, background characters that will show up and then they leave and then they'll come back later, like you said. And it's that sometimes, like you said, you'll be like, wait, what? Oh, that's right. That's that person from the last couple episodes that I forgot about. You know, it's so much. It's so much.
Yeah, and the thing too is like sometimes they'll just say the character's name once in an episode and then they expect you, and they treat it like 5 episodes later they won't say the name. They'll just have the character say something. You're like, I think I know who that person is. Like, it's really funny. Like, it's one of those things where like if you're not taking notes, you're probably gonna miss something because like I think there's a lot here. With all that said, though, I do like this anime. So my top level thoughts, I think Iron Blooded Orphans is a really good place to start for Gundam if you've never watched Gundam before. If you have watched Gundam before, I still think Iron Blooded Orphans is really, really strong comparatively. Despite like this huge sort of political atmosphere to it and this multitude of characters to follow along, I think the core characters are still easy to, you know, get attached to, because like even though there's a lot of background characters, it's really about Bernstein. It's really about Orga. It's about Mika. It's about the what's his name from Gallahorn. You said his name before we started streaming. McGillis. McGillis. Farid. Like his whole deal, wanting to kind of get Gallahorn on the right track and stuff like that, but still, you know, he still is bound to laws and stuff and still has to do as he's ordered and everything. But like, it's really about those core characters, and like everything else is sort of in the background and stuff. And you see all of this crazy stuff happening. And I think like the big thing for me is like some of the action in this anime is incredible. Like some of these Gundam fights are dope as hell. Like the last few episodes of the season where it's just like pretty much battle after battle after battle. It's like, man, this is dope. Freaking Gundams are dope. Let's just be real. Like, who doesn't love big ass robots? But like overall, though, I think this is a very enjoyable anime. And yeah, we'll dive a little bit deeper. But Elle, what are your top level thoughts? How are you feeling? I know you said you had a lot of questions. So
it's when I started watching this, because speaking on basically one of two of the main characters, Mika and Orga, the relationship reminded me a lot of like the relationship between I apologize for forgetting their names, from Trigun, the two brothers in the new like redone version of Trigun.
Wolfwood and
Wolfwood and
whatever the other guy's
Knives. Is it Knives?
No. Are you talking about Vash and Knives?
Yeah, exactly. Vash and Knives. And
I
kind of
you were
in a
talking
way
about
where
Wolfwood
like
and his like adopted brother. But
oh no. Knives, where it's like, you know, Knives is bad, but Mika is like this basically almost emotionless, like just killer, you know, and he's just like, well, he's kind of like Orga. What do you want me to do next?
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree that he's emotionless. I think he's just very, because like he cares. he cares
Yeah, he
about
does,
Orga.
yeah.
He cares about all of the other kids that are with him and stuff. Like he really like his like best friend besides Orga is what's his name? He's like the he has the two sisters. What's his name?
Oh,
I need to look at the list of characters' names.
what's his name? Oh, your Biscuit.
Yeah, Biscuit. Like
Biscuit.
he cares about Biscuit, and then like he also grows to care about Bernstein and everything too.
Yeah.
And like so like he does care. It's just he's very stoic in like how he cares. Whereas Orga is sort of the opposite, where Orga cares too much.
Very emotional. He cares too much. Yeah.
And I do see the parallels with like Knives and Vash there, though. Like Vash is sort of like the Orga where he cares too much, and then Knives is cold.
I'd say that the different, well, the difference between Mika, because you can tell that he cares. It's like you said, he's stoic. He doesn't show it as much. He kind of, it feels more internal, and he just kind of keeps it to himself in a way, which is cool because they balance each other out, and you know, and so it's like, oh, I like the dynamic because I liked Orga from the get-go. I was like, oh, Orga's cool. Like I like him. He's very much.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You know, he was like, no, you're good. You're good. He's like super cool. And like, his ability to kind of just lead everyone and gather everyone. Whereas like almost, was it Mika? He cares, but he keeps it to himself. But he's very much like, Orga, what do you want me to do next? What do I need to do? Who do I need to kill? Who do I need to do that? Which, by the way, this first episode, once you get into it, it just takes off. Which I'll say that it just like, I think I was just chilling watching. And then, you know, once that kind of like, the rebellion starts, you know, you'll see like this is just, you see these two snipers. Next thing you know, you forget, like I forgot immediately that I'm like, wait a second, these are just kids.
Yeah, they're just being picked off. These kids are just hanging out talking, and then like, and the kid's like, what?
And they just get taken out, and I'm like,
crazy.
What
like,
the hell?
And that happens throughout the show too. Like we see, as they go from Mars to Earth, they get attacked by pirates that have that kidnap kids and turn them into pirates themselves and stuff.
Exactly.
And then use them in fights and all that. So like these kids, like, man, it sucks to be a kid in this universe, in this version of Gundam, because like it's just children soldiers. Exactly. It's like an interesting like commentary on that, and I think that's one of the reasons why Orga was so set on rebelling and establishing their own thing, because he wanted to take care of them. Because like Orga, he's quite older. He's not a kid. He's a young adult comparatively to the other ones. And so he feels the responsibility of having to take care of all of them because he is sort of the older one. He's like 18, 19, right? And so he feels that responsibility. Oh, I have to protect them. This is on me. And Mika is sort of like his gun in a way. Like,
exactly.
As you said, like Orga just like, Mika, go handle this. Mika will do it. Because Mika has like unwavering loyalty to Orga. And we get glimpses of that, like why throughout the show. And like, I think it's like the very first episode, right? And like the first thing, it's Orga. It's a young Orga, and Mika, and Orga's just like, you got to shoot him, dude. And then Mika shoots the guy in the alleyway, and is like, what do I do now? And so it's like, in a way, it's kind of fucked up, but it's also it shows just like their bond throughout the show, and it never really wavers, because like even when Mika is like, dude, that's stupid. He still does it anyway. Like he'll be like, I don't think we should do that, and then he'll do it anyways because Orga's like, come on, just do it. Like
exactly. So. But besides that, I'll say that, like you said, the fight scenes in the series are like amazing. They're really well animated. I think it's always cool to watch big mechs go at it. And what I was looking online, what's interesting is like, I guess with this one, I didn't pay any attention to it, but a lot of people were saying that from season 1 that the Gundams aren't as like super flashy as others, because it feels like it's more like people fighting that just happen to be in suits, you know, versus like, you know, from Gundam Wing, you'll see these extravagant weapons and just like crazy things that just like annihilate, you know, Gundams. Whereas this one is kind of like, it's people fighting, but at a bigger scale, so to speak, you know. And so that's really cool. And like I enjoyed that aspect of it, and overall I enjoyed the anime. I think it's a really good one, well paced. It catches you off guard if you're not ready to see these kids get picked off.
Yeah,
but other than that, very simple to follow, I'll say. But it's so funny because you just I'll talk about this here in a second, where the Gundam series, I think over in general, I could be wrong just because I haven't seen all of them, but I like their the commentary that they have, especially in this one, just about war and like I guess almost like you could basically say like the military in a way, and how it kind of like you take the young to kind of go to these wars and stuff like that, and how crazy that kind of is when you think about it in perspective. And I think it was really cool. It had a cool like analysis of that.
Yeah. I think that's the strength of the show too, is this analysis of this breakdown of this is what war does, and this is how it affects these characters. And like, because like at the beginning, all these characters are on Mars. They're all child soldiers, and they even mention like we're just useless debris. We're just here to be killed, and they're just going to keep cycling through kids because it's just easier that way. And like, it's this horrible cycle, and that's like that they want to break free of and change. And I think like that, and that's the vision of Orga, that's the vision of Mika too, is like being free, being able to decide what's going to happen to your life. That's the same with Bernstein, with her trying to get the freedom of Mars from these people that live like on Earth who have no idea what it's like living on Mars and stuff, like just getting free and being independent. And yeah, like the commentary is fantastic for the show. I had a question and I forgot what it was because I went on this tangent. So if you have anything.
I'll say that. No, I think, I just enjoyed the like I said, the commentary, because when you think about it, what anime does, just like in general, it's a great way to kind of escape from reality. But then what I love about anime at times with certain animes, kind of like this one, it kind of brings awareness to something that you kind of like forget about. Like I was saying with like the military, and like sometimes when you think about it compared to the real world of like a lot of times people going into the military are very young kids, and like they're literally, 18, however old they are,
fresh
or whatever,
out of high school, because they
fresh out of high school, not really knowing what they want to do with their life, and they go into this thing, and then sometimes it could feel like people come and then they go, and then it just this never ending wave of like bringing some more, almost like hurting them, and and like this anime, that's what I noticed. I was like, oh, this is making like commentary and just like all of this in general. And it's crazy when you think about it. Cause like, we all live busy lives, but when you put something under a magnifying glass, you're like, that's kind of crazy that we do that as a humanity. That's a thing. Yeah. Society as a humanity, everything of just the thing.
War in general is absurd. So,
yes,
and I think that's the other thing that this talks about too. Like, is that war is stupid. Like these battles, it's a necessity because they're forced to do it, but like it also is what causes all the problems. And I think Gundam has a huge focus on that. Also, earlier I mentioned Turbine. It's Naze Turbine. He's with Taiwez. Taiwez, is that how you pronounce it? The organization. But they all get connected, and Turbine is like another person that joins forces with them and stuff. And anyways,
gotcha. Okay.
But man, there is a lot to enjoy about this anime, just from the commentary view, from the fighting. The one thing I appreciate about this anime, something that I've talked about in other animes where like that have gone on long, like what was that one anime that went on for fucking ever?
One Piece?
No. Your Lie in April, where like the pacing for that was awful. Like the middle of the Your Lie in April is just like, come on. Okay, we don't need it. We don't need all this other stuff. With this, though, even though this was 25 episodes in season 1, I felt like even the middle episodes, there was a purpose to them. We were getting glimpses of background stuff of various different characters. we were getting to know characters. We were just getting to know this political world. We got some cool action scenes too in the middle of the anime. So like, I feel like this show was pretty perfectly paced for a show that goes on for 25 episodes. I'm not a fan of long animes at all, because like it does feel like it drags its feet. But this one, for some reason, I was like, yeah, this feels good watching it. Like it never felt like it overstayed its welcome. I watched it very differently from you, because you did not take my advice and pace it out. I watched this over the course of like a couple of months. I was watching like 1 or 2 episodes, maybe three or four, like in a week. Because I knew I knew it was getting intense just based off what I had read. Like, hey, this show is intense, so just be aware. So I was pacing myself with this. How did you feel since you binged watched it essentially? Like, do you feel like that affected your viewing of it in any way, or were you able to follow it better? Or
I think I was able to follow it better. Just because what I'll say the first few episodes do is they introduce you like, this is what it's going to be like. Whatever comes, whatever happens, because as soon as the rebellion starts with those kids and they get taken out, I was like, oh, this is what kind of show this is going to be. This is basically this is not your, fuzzy roses and type of show. This is like a show about this rebellion and these people trying to rebel this government. And it kind of just set it up for me to be like, okay, this is what I should be expecting of how it's going to be. Yeah. Just people pushing through and, like you said, trying to get Bernstein to Earth to do this. It's politics. And so I think that it initially caught me off guard, because I think at first I was like, okay, because I think it's been a while since I've watched a Gundam series or anything. And then I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, all right, it kind of just brought it to life. And I was like, okay, we're in for a ride. Like, this is going to be a very crazy, chaotic ride.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets chaotic, especially towards the end when the last push comes and more the character reveals happen, like twists and turns happen, and you're like, wait, what? Like, certain characters do things, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Some characters die, I don't want to reveal too much because I don't want to spoil anything. With all that said, what are do you have any standout moments for yourself, like in terms of just like fights or character moments? For me, there was this when Mika first meets McGillis on like the farm outside the house, and Mika is like on the farm outside the house on the farm, and McGillis is like just driving through and almost hits Biscuit's sisters or whatever, and Mika's like, "What the fuck you doing, bro?" It's like Mika comes at him so hard, like, "Dude, what are you doing? Why did you almost run over these kids?"
That's so
McGillis
funny.
is like, "Dude, sorry, it's my bad. Like, let's calm down, bro." It's like, let's calm down.
That's so
like
funny.
I like the dynamics. Like McGillis is like throughout the whole show, he's like this calm dude, and you see moments where he kind of breaks, where he's not calm.
Yeah, exactly.
But like in that particular moment when Mika and him first meet, Mika's so damn aggressive, and he's just like, "Come on, man, what's going on? What are you doing?" Exactly.
That's so funny. I would say one of of course, the fight at the end was amazing. That I enjoyed a lot. Even when it first started, I think it's episode 2. When of course rebellion's going on, or no, that's not episode. Sorry, it's in the first one where I remember. My whole thing was I was like, I want to see them fight in their mechs. Like, I love Gundam. It's all about the Gundams. Like, it's all about the Gundams. And also the characters who are behind them. And just getting more of the backstory between Orga and Mika, of their relationship and why Mika is so loyal to Orga. Excuse me. But like we said in the beginning, I loved the animation of the Gundam fights, of just how cool it is. To me, what's crazy is I shouldn't say, this might sound bad if I say this, but one that caught me off guard in the very beginning as the rebellion's going off is he's a side character. He's the brother. He's just one of the child soldiers, where he talks to Orga and he's like, "Orga, how can I help?" And Orga goes, get into that little like tank or whatever, but be careful. And he's like, all right. And then I think one of the mechs starts shooting at the base, and he goes, no, my friends are there. And I'm like, this is not going to be good for this kid. And he's just shooting, and then he gets killed. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what's happening? And then and then finally Orga kind of is dealing with that for like a second. He's like, ugh. And he's like, Mika, and he comes out from the ground to come up and just like strike down like the mech and stuff.
With his mech. His mech is Barbados, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Barbados, Barbados,
which like it's a unique Gundam because it's like it's a very old Gundam, and like it has to hook up to your like it sticks into his like neck, right? And
the neck, like little whatever's attached to him.
Yeah. And like he has to control it through that and everything. Like all the kids technically have that, right? So
because they were all experimented on, and like Mika was one of the few that survived it. Yeah, but stuff like I remember that moment. But there are random things where you kind of forget. I think, for example, like that side character who ended up getting that kid that got killed. Mm-hmm. I was like, why would he do this? But then I'm like, oh, he's a kid. He doesn't. They don't know not to like. He's just they're just acting off of whatever. Yeah.
But I mean, that's literally what they call it through like, there's like title episodes where there's like human debris and stuff like that, where they're like in this world, these kids are just viewed as expendable, and Orga's trying to change that. One of the things that I always found funny about Orga is that anytime a fight happens, he's like, guys, be careful. Don't do anything stupid. It's like, don't die. Like, it's like, I'm just like, Orga, dude, come on. You say that every time. Yeah. Inevitably, somebody dies. Like, someone gets hurt. Like, dude, calm down with this shit.
I feel like he's almost saying that just to kind of be like, get the audience prepared. Like, somebody's going to die.
Yeah. Hey, guys, don't die. He literally says that. Like, towards I want to say it's like the last episode, right? In episode 25, he's just like, guys, before the fight happens, he's like, guys, don't die. Okay? Just don't die. Granted, everything kind of turns out fine for folks, but still, like, I just always found that funny with Orga. He's just like, yeah, guys, don't die. Hey, be careful. Don't die. Dude, they're like, how can you be careful at a fight like this? You know,
I know, exactly. Crazy. And so it's very interesting. That brings me to ask you. I wanted to one question that I had that I just remembered about Mobile Suit, which you kind of touched on a little bit, but I guess maybe a little more clarification. So the whole Gundam entire series, like some of it's connected, some of it's not. Does this connect to anything, or is it its own kind of encapsulated universe?
So it is in the Calamity War universe. I'm looking at the stuff right now. I don't know if there's any other shows within this. It's its own universe. It's other than Iron Blooded Orphan.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's its own thing. Which makes sense why it's a good one to watch outside of like other ones, because like Gundam Wing takes place in a universe with other ones as well.
Yeah.
There's like the universe timeline. There's so many different timelines that it makes it complicated to like suggest a Gundam Wing, which is why I had to do a bunch of research for it. And apologies that I am doing light research now, trying to do it now when it took me forever to figure out where I needed to begin. But I was going to say I was going to say that there is this one guy who I did not like. Of course, you're not supposed to like him. The Kudal guy, the guy who he has like the hair and the muscles, blonde hair, and he's like sticking his tongue out as he fights. If you know who that, do you remember that guy? He has on like a black wife beater. Kudal. Kudal. Was he one of the pirate dudes?
Yeah, I think he was one of the pirates, or he was Kadel. He was basically, he has that crazy, he's really one of the only ones who has like a unique hairstyle. It's like yellow greenish. Yeah, he was the leader of the brewers. They fought him in a couple episodes. Yeah. He has a very not likable face, but
yeah. He's a fucking weird dude. He was one of the ones that was just using children soldiers. They because one of the kids, one of the characters that's with Tekkadan, they had the brother was with the Brewers, and like that was a whole thing, and they had to get him and stuff.
Exactly.
And they showed like backstory for that and stuff. And again, like I liked glimpses of this, but he was a piece of shit. That guy. He's dead though. So what does it matter? He died, Fuck that dude. How do you feel with this compared to what you remember of Gundam Wing? Because I know you probably haven't watched Gundam Wing in a while, right? So
yeah, it's been years. This, I'm not gonna lie, this one, it feels more grounded, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Just because now granted, the only other Gundam series that I've seen was Gundam Wing. And as I say this, I'll correct myself, but like this one just feels more grounded from what I remember as far as like the child soldiers is like a very much kind of like a what's the word, like a what's the name, it just surprises you and catches you off guard. The commentary feels a little bit more grounded, and it just kind of grabs you a little bit more, because Gundam Wing also deals with kids, but they don't really feel like children. They're like young adults. And I think what the difference, what this series does good compared to Gundam Wing, which I enjoyed a lot and I love Gundam, but here, what you see as you watch the series is that people can and will die. Like these random, that like no one feels like invincible, whereas Gundam Wing, you feel like a lot of the main cast of characters feel like they're not going to die. Like they're unstoppable.
There's a whole story arc where Hero's like sick or whatever. He gets injured, right?
Yeah, but he it never feels like he's gonna die. Like it's always like the side random soldiers that are getting killed that die. They don't feel important. Here it's like the important people are like, man, somebody could just get offed in the next episode or something. Yeah,
the show does feel like there's I've said this before, like the stakes feel higher in this than in Gundam.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think I also feel like old Gundam, like Gundam Wing, and then other Gundam shows I've watched besides this one, I've never. The pacing always feels weird to me because like Gundam Wing is very slow at times. I never felt like this show was slow, but I also never felt like it was fast either. I felt like there was just a good just rhythm to the show where something would happen, a fight would happen. Maybe Mika would come in time to save somebody. And if he didn't come in time to save somebody, somebody would die. Like, that's essentially what the rhythm was like. Like if Mika couldn't do something quick enough, somebody would die.
Exactly.
For like you see that kind of take a toll on him too, as the show progresses too, where he's like, man, I can't save everybody. What's going on? I need to save as many people as I can.
Exactly.
But I feel like in a lot of ways in the Gundams that I've watched, I think Iron Blooded Orphans has had a solid pacing to it, because I do feel like other ones are a little bit slower in how they develop their story at times. I do feel like grounded is a good word for this, where these characters, this world feels more grounded in a lot of ways, and it's politics with how they handle the politics and how they handle the commentary that they're showing and giving to the viewers. It's also grounded and feels more mature in a lot of ways.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And how in its storytelling, the storytelling feels mature, not just because it's, violence and people dying or anything. It's just like how these characters are reacting to the violence around them, how these characters are reacting to overcome obstacles that they face, whether it's, Galahorn trying to stop them, or their systems on their ship falling apart because they're in space and they got to figure out something. Because it's just, there's a level of maturity to this anime that I never really got with other Gundams. Granted, I haven't watched all the Gundams. I'm very limited in my Gundam space, but from what I've seen, this has been the most mature and the most enjoyable for me. And a lot of my Gundam Wing love is nostalgia based.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I did watch Gundam Wing recently, and boy, not as good as I remember. So my like love of Gundam Wing was definitely, oh yeah, this was nostalgia. I was also a very different person then because I was a freaking dumbass 13-year-old, whatever. When I was a kid.
I get that.
You know, so
yeah, I get that because definitely Gundam Wing is very nostalgic for me because I remember just the characters looking cool, like even like the I guess you could say the antagonist, I forgot his name, the guy with the white mask from Gundam Wing. He looked really cool too. I was like, wow, everybody has cool Gundams, and everyone just looks so cool. It's like Zek or something like that.
Yeah, Zek Corporation, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah. But even all of them were cool. And it's...
Man, he was a bitch. Let's be real.
He had a cool Gundam, though. But
Zach Marquis.
That's what it Marquis. Zach Marquis. So royal. But
fuck that dude.
there was a guy... Duo Maxwell was one of my favorite. Like, he was like really cool with his Gundam. He was
BFFs with Hero. Him and Hero are best friends forever.
I think he had the coolest weapon. But... Yeah. Other than that, I haven't seen it in so long. I probably would be like, dang, I used to like this. But anyway, I mean,
it's not like it's bad or anything. It's just, especially because I went from watching Iron Blooded Orphans to that. And I was like, oof.
Oh, to that.
That's why I was like, when I say maturity, I was like, yeah, there's a marked difference in how they're telling their story and just, things like perspectives change as you get older. So it's one of those things too.
Exactly.
I won't belabor that point though. With all that said, to kind of wind this down, I guess, because I don't really have much more to say. There is something I do want to touch on is that there is just some incredible, beautiful, like environmental shots, like when they're traveling through space or when they were on Mars and you just saw the Mars landscape. Like there's just some beautiful, like and it like how I felt with Trigun Stampede, where it's just like there's some just beautiful environmental shots. There's some beautiful environmental things in this anime too, where I'm just like, oof, I could make that a background on my computer because that looks fucking dope. That is a wallpaper right there. Because there's just some beautiful animation in this in Iron Blooded Orphans, whether it's just environmental stuff, even like the characters talking to each other and like how like Mika, like, he always has his hands in his pockets and it always looks natural as he's walking. Like it's just really good animation in that regard. Like, with how Orga just holds himself, where he always looks so relaxed compared to the other characters. Yeah, I think that's a good way to tell story too. Like the animation for each character and how they like present themselves was just a fascinating thing to me because the animation almost told you who these characters are without really having to hear them talk. Does that make sense?
No, definitely. Yeah. It says a lot without saying anything almost. Yeah. It tells you a lot. And so I get that.
Yeah. Cause like the way characters would react to each other and like there's obviously there's like animated heightened to this, like in character reactions and stuff. But when it's just like characters walking and talking and stuff, there was just like moments where I was just like, oof, this is really well animated and it makes me believe this world and these characters even more. So,
yeah. Exactly. Agreed. Yeah, I think as far as like closing thoughts, I think that this anime, because I have the list pulled up of just like the other ones that we've seen here. It's very interesting because I think that it stands by itself with just like the commentary that it says when it talks about just like war and how bad it is and like it's just like the crazy things that society does. And I think that it's very interesting and it's very grounded because it's basically like it's a commentary on just like war, slavery, child soldiers, just like all that stuff. And it's basically almost like in a category of its own with all that. And like it's very interesting. And so I enjoyed this anime. I think that a lot of people should watch it. And I think that it's a good way because I'm like, as we said before, that Gundam, the entire series in itself, it's a lot to kind of figure out where to jump in. But I think that this does a good job of the plot of it, it's very well paced, and it's like getting you from A to B, because literally the whole thing is to get Bernstein to Earth to discuss to get the freedom of Mars.
Give a speech and get a. Hey, she does it
to get the freedom.
Well,
sometimes that's all you need.
I just spoiled it.
Oh no, but
oh no.
But overall, like, yeah, I think it did a good job, and I think it has interesting characters that come along with Mizuki or what Maki and Orga. And I think that it does a good job. Sorry, Mika. God dang it, Mikazuki. Mika. Sorry, Mika and Orga. Yeah. And I think that they're very interesting.
I don't know why I just said Mika. Now I'm gonna think of what's his name from Bochi. Just be like
Boji. Boji. I forgot his name.
Kagami.
But I like his voice. His voice from Boji Boji Ranking King is cool.
Mika. Are you in the right anime? What's going on here?
People are dying here. I need to leave.
Wait, this is Boji. We gotta leave.
This is not wholesome here. Exactly.
This is not heartwarming. We gotta leave.
Exactly. But anyway, yeah.
All right. So with all that said, our current lists, we'll do the individual lists first, and then we'll do an overall ranking. So my current list, and we only keep track of the top 10. So we have a couple animes that have fallen off my list and have fallen off L's list. But currently, my list is number 1, Trigun Stampede. Number 2, Megalobox. Number 3, Ranking of Kings. Number 4, Bocchi the Rock. Number 5, Another. Number 6, Erased. Number 7, Your Lie in April. Number 8, Spy X Family. Our Spy Family, however you want to say it. Number 9, Mashal, Magic of Muscles. And 10, Kekagori. L's list. Number 1, One Punch Man. Number 2, Megalobox. Number 3, Ranking of Kings. Number 4, Trigun Stampede. Number 5, Mashal, Magic and Muscles. Number 6, Kekagori. Number 7, Another. Number 8, Spy Family. Number 9, Erased. And number 10, Bocchi the Rock. L, where are you going to place yours? We'll start with you. I'm going to leave mine in suspense.
Before I decide this, which we'll talk about this, or maybe I should save this till after we play. Let me say this after, because remember we had after the podcast we had a discussion about something we wanted to do, but let's do it after we play Gundam. So Gundam, I enjoyed it a lot, and kind of like how we've done in the past, where we kind of asked, did we enjoy it more than this anime? This is very tough because a part of me, I do have an anime on here that I think I enjoyed it more than, but I'm realizing that I'm enjoying it, but I'm in the place that I want to put it. It might eliminate an anime that I actually enjoyed more than the anime that's being moved down. So we'll get to the second part, but I'm going to place this towards the bottom of the list because it is a great story, but I think that when comparing it to the rest of the animes that we've seen, I think the characters, for me, I liked these other characters a lot more. But I'm going to put it right below Spy Family season 1. And so
it's
it'll be
at number 9 and Bocchi the Rock gets knocked out. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's where I'm going to put it. And before we get to this whole thing that me and you talked about, I'm going to let you decide where you want to put Iron Blooded Orphans.
All right. Well, for me, I'm significantly higher than you on it. I've said that from the beginning, though, months ago, that I was super high on the show. So I'm not even going to bother starting from the bottom of my list. I got to look at number 5, Another. Do I like it more than Another? Yep. I like it more than Another. It's not even... It's so weird because, like, on my list right now, my top 4 are animes I absolutely love. Like, everything else on my list, I'm just like, I can take it or leave it. Like, I don't need to watch them or anything, but like my current top 4, Trigun Stampede, Megalobox, Ranking of Kings, and Bocchi the Rock, I absolutely adore. And so I'm adding another anime to I'm adding another anime to that list of things I absolutely adore. And so the question is, do I like it more than Bocchi the Rock? I do.
Whoa.
Sorry, Bochi. You keep going down my list. I do like Bochi. Bochi was my favorite anime of 2022. Yep. No, 2020. Yeah. When did it come out? 2022?
Yes.
2023?
2022.
It's my favorite anime of whatever year it came out. A new season's supposed to be coming soon too, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, but I do like it more than Bocchi the Rock. Do I like it more than Ranking of Kings? I do like it more than Ranking of Kings.
Wow.
Yep. Dude, listen, I was really into Iron Blooded Orphans. Like, I love Ranking of Kings. I think Ranking of Kings is so wholesome. I think it lacks in a overall compelling story. I think what makes Ranking of Kings is how wholesome it is. But for me, I just really got invested in the story of Iron Blooded Orphans. I got really invested in Orga, the relationships between Mika, Orga, Mika and Bernstein, Mika and like all these other characters, and just like the dynamics of it all. I got really into. So then you got to look at Megalobox.
Oh,
fucking Megalobox, man! Come on, that anime. Yeah. Chef's kiss. Do I like Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans more than Megalobox? I do not. Like, let's be real, I do not. But it's gonna be my new number 3. Iron Blooded Orphans is my new number 3 on my list.
Nice.
I can't even spell it. I don't know if you just saw how I was spelling it in the doc.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, Iron Blooded.
Remember that? It's like I just vomited everywhere. All right. So my new list looks like this. Number 1, Trigun Stampede. Number 2, Megalobox. Number 3, Iron Blooded Orphans. Number 4, Ranking of Kings. Number 5, Bocchi the Rock. Number 6, Another. Number 7, Erased. Number 8, Your Lie in April. Number 9, Spy Family. Number 10, Magic and Muscle. And then L's list looks like this. One Punch Man at number 1. Number 2, Megalobox. Number 3, Ranking of Kings. Number 4, Trigun Stampede. Number 5, Mashal, Magic and Muscles. Number 6, Kekagori. Number 7, Another. Number 8, Spy Family. Number 9, Iron Blooded Orphans. And number 10, Erased. I have no idea why I said Iron Blooded Orphans like that, but number 10 is Erased. Do you want to explain what you want to do?
Yeah. All right. So effectively, we've watched, I think, 13 animes now?
12 animes, because I vetoed doing the Great Pretenders.
That's right. Yeah. Great Pretender. So because this is the last one of the year, and this is basically going to be our list for 2023, I talked about introducing an interesting rule. So now, as this list gone on, as we mentioned, Jesus mentioned earlier, is that, because of the list, there's an anime or two that got kicked off the list, or how we have it arranged now. I decided to say, what if we're only able to do this with one? You can either bring an anime back into your list that got knocked off because we couldn't change it, or we can move one around. If maybe after watching all these animes, we said, you know what, I like this one actually more than Your Lie in April, or than Ranking of Kings, the one that's at the bottom, and you want to move it up. And so we can only do this one, because if we did it with all of them, it'd take forever, almost. And so to kind of keep it interesting, I was like, let's take one anime that maybe you don't like where it's at, you want to move it up, or you want to move one down. Why not do that for one? And so we talked about this after the pod, the last episode last month. And so I actually know which one I'm going to move, because I was looking at my list, and actually an anime that got kicked out, I did not want to get kicked out. And I think that I've enjoyed it a whole lot more when I think about it now. So I can actually say mine, if that's all right with you. So the anime that I want to bring back into my list is Bocchi the Rock, because I think Bocchi we just knocked it out, because I actually enjoyed Bocchi a whole lot more. It's very, very wholesome, very cute. Now, as to where I want to put it, I actually think, I know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it at number 8, because I think that Bocchi
so you're
is great.
Spy Family down?
And Spy Family down, and Erased gets pushed out. Because I thought about it, Erased is a great anime. It's a good little suspenseful anime, but when you compare it to like the rest of these, I just had a lot more fun with Bocchi. And Bocchi is like the whole like simple story about it, and just how wholesome it is as well. Yeah. And I think I enjoyed Bocchi more than Spy Family Season 1. And I definitely did enjoy Bocchi a lot more personally for than Iron Blooded Orphans. But then when you get to like Another and Kakagori, I actually enjoyed those a lot more. And then the top 5 for me are just like, I love those animes a lot, and I've had a lot of fun with those animes. And so I think they're good with where they're at.
Okay. So for me, I'm switching out Your Lie in April. I'm putting it at the bottom of my list. Putting it below Mashal and Magic and Muscle.
Wow.
I'm bringing in Magic. Okay. So everything goes up 1.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Your Lie in April gets dropped down to 10 for me. Because like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, I liked the story of the anime. It just went on way too long, and like after a while, like the more I think about it, I'm just like, ugh, yeah. It just leaves like I like the beginning, I like the end, but that middle part just kind of like soured me on the overall show. And then
I get that.
Yeah, I just like the other animes way more. Mashal, Magic and Muscle, Spy Family, Erased, Another, all of that. Like again, like the from 6 to 10 are for me like on my list are all animes that I don't really I enjoyed them, but I don't really care about them, if that makes sense.
I get
Whereas
that.
like
That
my
makes
top
sense.
5 for me is like I loved Bocchi the Rock. I love Ranking of Kings. I love Iron Blooded Orphans. I love Megalobox. And then of course like I'm a Trigun stan, so Trigun I will always like So for me that's really like 6 through 10 for me. It could be interchangeable for me in the long run.
Exactly. I get that. That makes sense.
I need to do a quick calculation for our overall rankings for our 2023, our anime list of 2023. Our overall ranking list will give me a moment while I do math.
No worries.
Because math is hard.
I'll say, as you're doing that, I'll say this, that my list, like he was saying with the top 5, because at mine I had, One Punch Man Season 1, Megalobox Season 1, Ranking of Kings Season 1, Trigun Stampede Season 1, and Mashal, Magic and Muscles. I enjoyed those a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you, there's a part of me where the top 2 can change places almost, just because of how much I enjoyed Megalobox with Gearless Joe. And maybe whenever we do bring the show back, we can watch Season 2, because Season 2 I think is a great introspective look at Gearless Joe after the events of Season 1. And I think that it's such another great anime that it has an interesting topic to talk about with Gearless Joe and what happens to him. I won't go too much into it, but it makes me think of this is so funny. If you've never seen this movie, it's all right, but it makes me think of how Rambo, when it first came out, it's a very nonsense, like just action flick or whatever. But then people who don't know, Rambo 2 actually is a very deep movie where it talks about the traumas of war and like how he deals with that, trying to come back into society. And Megalobox Season 2 kind of reminds me of that, of like in a different way, where like Gearless Joe has a lot to deal with, and he kind of goes into this spiral of dealing with the aftermath of what happens to a lot of stuff that goes on. But in like sometimes that's really cool because it's very grounded, and it's very, very interesting. And so Gearless Joe, probably I'd say one of my favorite anime characters ever in an anime.
All right, so this is getting a little too complicated trying to do this math right now, because we have a 3-way tie at number 5, and we're gonna have more ties. So you know what? We're just gonna say our top 5 animes of 2023 because
okay.
I'm too lazy to take the time to try to do the math right now, because we have a 3-way tie right now for number 5, and
That's
so it's like, this
funny.
is ridiculous. Well, I'll do the math later. We'll figure out a better scoring system next year for our overall list. But right now, our number one anime of 2023 that we watched. Most of these animes did not come out in 2023, so
of course,
just keep that in mind. Megalobox is our number 1 anime with 18 points total.
Nice.
Trigun Stampede is number 2. Ranking of Kings, number 3. One Punch Man, number 10 or number 4.
Nice.
And then number 5 is a 3-way tie between Bocchi the Rock, Another, and Iron Blooded Orphans.
That's so funny.
With 9 points total on all of them. So, yeah.
That's so funny. Hilarious.
So, apparently we love Bocchi the Rock, Another, and Iron Blooded Orphans the same amount.
All the same.
Yeah. Not true.
That's hilarious.
Not true at all.
Yeah,
but
no.
I definitely don't feel like. I definitely feel like another is the odd one out here, and yet somehow,
definitely,
it is. Yeah. It does come out to being the same amount of points as Bocchi the Rock and Iron Blooded Orphans. But I feel like another's the odd one out on this.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's where it is on our list. It's still like in the middle of your list. It's in the middle of my list. Like, apparently we liked another that much.
Yeah, no, it's just right there in the middle. It was an interesting story. Among those other two, it's standing out.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Hey, you put it above Bocchi the Rock, so there you go.
I did.
You have one. You can take Bocchi the Rock and put it above another, and then we can just have a 2-way tie.
Do that. I think that no.
We'll keep it the way it is. Okay. I'll finish the list though, and we'll start next year whenever we bring this back. We'll start with our overall ranking list again, or maybe we just start a new one. I mean, we just submit this 2023
every year.
List. Yeah, new list every year.
Every year we do something new. Nice. Well. I guess that brings that's all, folks. Goodbye. No,
that's all, folks. I just had an idea. We're gonna do this right now.
What's that? Okay.
What is an anime that you watched this year that we didn't do a review on that you enjoyed? What is an anime that you watched? Do what?
I already have it off the on Dr. Stone. Right up there. I love that anime. Yeah. Love it.
Nice.
There's also what's the other? There's also another anime or two, if I can remember. But this is more like it's these ones that I'm about to mention are very much more wholesome, and like nobody dies in them or anything. So it doesn't really feel like stakes, but I enjoyed it because it's so casual. One is The Daily Life of an Immortal King. That's a pretty like chill, like almost no stakes at all in it, but it's still like I like the characters in it. They're pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then I forgot the name of the other one. I apologize. I'm trying to think. That's all that come to mind right now. I forgot the other one.
Nice.
What about
you? A second. Oh man, I got one for you. Gotta look up the name real quick. Okay, make sure I get the name right. I told you to watch it, and you said no. You said no. You said there's no way you're ever going to watch it. High School DxD, man. It's actually pretty good.
Oh my god!
There's just a lot of boobies.
That's just get so a lot funny. Of boobies. That's so funny. I knew you were going to say that one. That's hilarious.
If you want to be a perv, go watch High School DxD. But no, my real answer is the last season of My Hero Academia. I really enjoyed My Hero Academia.
Nice.
I'm a casual viewer of My Hero Academia. Like I'll like whenever they have a season, I'll watch it. But man, the villain arc and like the results and the fallout of it, like everything they explored with that, I absolutely love. So yeah, My Hero Academia.
Nice. So, that's a good one. Yeah, I was the last one that I'll mention that I watched this year. That it's an older anime, but I saw it. At first, it took me a second to actually understand what was going on because it's all scientific, almost, and it's sometimes it's hard to kind of understand it. But once you get into it, I think that I enjoyed it a lot. Which Steins Gate, if you ever heard of Steins Gate.
Yep, Steins Gate's really good.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to finish it. I started it and then didn't finish it. There's another one that I wanted to talk about real quick. What was the name of it? Parasite?
Parasite. Oh, yeah. I know about that one. I haven't seen it, but I know that one.
Oh, yeah. Parasite, the Maxim. Yeah. So it is that. I watched that earlier this year. I really enjoyed it. It's about these aliens coming down, like these creatures from something and like connect to a human host and stuff and like takes over the body. But our main character, of course, something happens that prevents him from being taken over by the creature in him and stuff. And yeah, it's a really good anime. It's a lot of very heavy stuff in it. Apparently I like heavy things. So
I need to watch that because people have recommended in watching Parasite. And so there's like a couple I need to watch.
Yeah, Parasite's good. It's good.
Maybe it'll be one of the ones we watch next year.
I mean, I've already watched it, so I'm going to say no.
No.
I mean, we can't. I don't care.
Thanks so much for tuning in to, I'm not going to say last episode. It is the last of 2023.
It's the fucking last episode. Stupid fucks.
It's never coming back, you pieces of crap. No. But the last episode of 2023 for the Review Please Anime Edition, where today we talked about Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. I cannot say blooded. Iron Blooded Orphans. And we'll be back once we get a couple things with these moves going on for me, and we'll come back in 2024. But everybody, until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube at Respawn Please podcast on YouTube. Just subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of future episodes that we got going on. If you're into video games, check out Respawn Please the podcast, which we will be back as well in 2024 with that. And you can also listen to past episodes on YouTube, or if not, everywhere you get podcasts, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on social media at Respawn Please Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. And we'll catch you next year.
I'm going to go ahead and reveal the first anime we're going to watch. It's High School DxD. Elle's going to have to watch it.
Oh my God. No.
It's going to be, it's not even going to make our list. It's going to be great.
Oh my God. That's so funny. That's hilarious.
I can't wait for the anime. I can't wait for the day we have an anime that doesn't make the list, where we talk about it. They were like, yeah, we're just not going to put it on the list.
That's so funny. That'd be hilarious. Like, yeah, sorry,
just don't like it.
It's not getting on the list.
Yeah.
Just don't like it.
Anyways, see y'all later. Have a good day. Have a good holidays. Good New Year's.
Have a good year
in 2024 sometime. Bye.